Have you ever wished you could stop time, just for a moment? In a busy town full of honking cars and rushing feet, there was a tiny shop squeezed between two tall buildings. Its sign read, "Tick and Tock, fixing time since forever." This was the home of a small boy named Leo and his grandfather, the town's oldest and wisest clockmaker. The shop was a magical place. Shelves overflowed with clocks of every shape and size. There were grandfathers that chimed with deep, comforting voices, cuckoo clocks with birds that sang sweet melodies, and even some quirky ones shaped like cats. Leo loved them all. He loved polishing their shiny faces and oiling their tiny gears. But what he loved most was listening to their symphony of sounds tick, tock, tick, tock. To Leo, it wasn't just noise. It was the heartbeat of the world, like whispers from a secret, hidden place. One evening, a storm raged outside. Rain lashed against the windows, and thunder rumbled in the distance. Leo's grandfather, his face etched with wrinkles like the lines on a map, called him over. He held out a strange and beautiful pocket watch. Its gears weren't made of brass or steel. They were a mesmerizing, glowing blue, and they seemed to hum with a quiet energy. "This one," his grandfather said, his voice barely a whisper above the storm, "doesn't just tell time. It holds it." Leo stared at the watch, puzzled. Before he could ask what his grandfather meant, a brilliant flash of lightning lit up the entire shop. A crash of thunder followed, so loud it shook the very foundations. And in that terrifying moment, his grandfather collapsed onto the floor. Silence, the ticking that had been the constant soundtrack of Leo's life, stopped. Every pendulum froze mid-swing. Every hand on every clock face stood perfectly still. Leo rushed to the window and gasped. The world outside was a frozen painting. Raindrops hung suspended in the air like tiny glass beads. A bird was frozen in mid-flight, its wings outstretched. He could move, but everything else was locked in a moment of absolute stillness. His hands trembling, Leo looked down at the glowing blue pocket watch. Time had stopped. He was the only one left moving within it. Was this what his grandfather meant? He tentatively took the small key on the watch and gave it a gentle turn. A soft shimmer pulsed through the air, like a heat wave on a summer day. And then the world came alive again. Tick-tock, tick-tock, the clocks all started at once. Outside, the raindrops completed their journey to the ground, the bird continued its flight, and the distant rumble of traffic returned. He had done it. He had stopped and restarted time itself. A thrill, mixed with a little bit of fear, shot through him. He had a power he couldn't possibly understand. In the days that followed, Leo couldn't resist experimenting. He saw a fluffy white cat tumble from a windowsill and, with a quick twist of the watch, froze time to gently place it back to safety. He rewound a few seconds to perfectly catch a friend's toy before it smashed on the pavement. It felt wonderful, like being a secret superhero. But with every use, something strange happened back at the shop. A thin hairline crack would appear on one of the clocks. At first, he barely noticed it. But soon the cracks began to multiply, spreading like a spider's web across the glass faces and wooden cases of his grandfather's precious collection. The shop itself began to change. The walls shimmered, looking thin and fragile, as if they were made of glass on the verge of shattering. The air grew heavy and cold. One evening, as twilight settled over the town, a figure began to form among the shadows of the silent clocks. It was tall and indistinct, a silhouette made not of flesh and bone, but of ticking worry gears. It had no face, but Leo felt its gaze on him. When it spoke, its voice was a chilling chorus, like 100 watches ticking out of sync. Time doesn't like to be controlled. Leo was paralyzed with fear. He understood now that by stealing moments, by pausing and rewinding the world to his will, he had been breaking something fundamental. He had upset the balance. The shadow figure glided closer, its form rippling. It reached out a hand made of cogs and springs. Every second you steal, it echoed, must be returned. Tears streamed down Leo's face. He thought of his grandfather, still lying silent and unmoving. He had only wanted more time with him to save him. But his actions were tearing the world apart. Then his grandfather's words came back to him. Clocks don't just count time, they protect it. He knew what he had to do. With a deep breath, he gripped the glowing blue pocket watch. He wasn't going to stop time or rewind it. He was going to give it back. He wound the key one last time, not taking, but releasing all the moments he had stolen. A brilliant, warm light erupted from the watch, so bright it blinded him. It filled every corner of the room, washing over the cracked clocks and the shadowy figure. The terrifying chorus of ticks dissolved into a single, perfect rhythm. The shadow melted away into the light, and then, all at once, every clock in the shop began to tick again in perfect, harmonious unison. When the light faded, Leo looked over to his grandfather. The old man stirred, then slowly sat up, a weak but gentle smile on his face. "Ah," he whispered, his voice raspy. "So you met time itself." Leo rushed to him, hugging him tightly. "I'm sorry, Grandpa. I tried to fix everything, but I think I just broke time." His grandfather chuckled, a soft, warm sound that filled the room. "You didn't break it, my boy," he said, patting Leo's head. "You understood it." From that day forward, Leo was known in the quiet whispers of the town as the little clockmaker who stopped time. He continued his work in the small shop. But now he listened to the ticking with a new sense of wonder. Each tick, each tock was a reminder of how precious every single second is. Time is a gift, not something to be controlled, but something to be cherished. And sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet and the moonlight streams through the window, one pocket watch in the shop still glows with a faint, blue lighter silent guardian, waiting for the next heart pure enough to understand the true magic of holding time in their hands. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, Brett. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures. See you next time.